All right, people, what is going on, everybody? So, I'm going to talk to you guys about something different, right? Instead of talking about art, I'm going to talk about fitness. Like I said in the About page, I'm a fitness enthusiast and I'm an artist. And a lot of times on this channel, I emphasize on art. So, this time, I'm going to give you guys more of a story time about my fitness journey, all right? So, this goes back all the way, years ago, back in college. So I was a bit of a late bloomer. I didn't start working out when I was in high school or middle school, or of course not elementary school. I started back in college. And the main reason why I started at that time was because I was starting to gain weight. So when I was younger, I was chubby and I used to eat a lot, And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. A lot of fast food, Philly cheesesteak, all that type of stuff. I used to eat so much fast food because it was comforting, right? It was around my environment, and I never really found eating clean because number one, I didn't know how to cook. Obviously, I was a kid. I didn't know how to cook. And number two, again, fast food was all over, right? So I'll eat pizza, especially pizza, over and over and over. So throughout middle school, going into even through the transition of middle school and high school is when I developed a growth spurt, right? So that kind of balanced things out as far as me being chubby, but I was still had the mentality of eating whatever was around me, right? So going into college, I was going through stress like most college students in terms of trying to, pass in terms of midterms and finals, that during those times I would just go and get Domino's pizza over and over and over. And it's not like I was eating multiple large portions a day. I just wanted to eat something of a large proportion, It is out of proportion, but large portions of food, so that way I don't feel hungry throughout the day. So I would stuff myself with a whole pie of Domino's pizza. And back in the days, they used to have the 555 deal. So me and my friend or me and my brother, we would just cut that in half, right? And I was the one that would eat a pie and a half in one day while the rest of them would kind of let it sit, And fun is not a fun fact, it's a terrible fact. A lot of fast food can literally last months and it will not spoil. How crazy is that? It won't spoil, they won't rot, they won't show any age of mold, because it is super duper processed. But anyway, let's get back into the storyline, right? So I would eat that over and over and over, right? It was stress eating. So because I was going through stress, and I was working retail at that time as well, because I was going through stress, right, with school and things holistically, that I needed an out. I needed to eat something that made me feel good, because eating food is euphoric. It makes you feel good. But then funny enough, it makes you feel like crap afterwards, right? Especially with the amount of food I was eating. And then you get the itis. So now your body is shutting down because it needs time to process all that nasty processed food. So rinse and repeat, doing that over and over, I started to gain weight. At that time, I gone from 190 or 195 up to 220 pounds. Right, and then I remember I weighed myself too, because I was during Thanksgiving, right? I was at my sister's place and she had a scale, so I borrowed a scale and I checked. I was like, "Whoa, I'm 220. I need to nip this in the butt." And mind you, I've never worked out before, right? But I had good genetics apparently, because I was chubby. Then the growth spurt, people thought I worked out. You know what I'm saying? People thought I worked out, but I never did. So. My brother's friend, I can never forget this day. I remember I was asking for advice, and he said, go on the treadmill and jog for 4 miles, right? Let me block my face so I can emphasize on the 4 fingers. 4 miles, all right? Let's get close up on that one. 4, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 miles. At that time, I thought that was nothing. I'm like, oh, this 4 miles? because you hear all this stuff like, 'cause I never done cardio, never exercised. So you hear a lot of like, oh, you know, people do 26.2 miles, right? So when you hear that large amount of number, like, oh, 26.2, that's a lot. So in comparison to 4, that must be easy as hell, right? Boy, I was wrong. That was crazy, but I was dedicated, right? So to give you more specifically how long that is, right? So for my speed at that time, I would jog with like a 5 to 6, I think it was like a 6 speed on the treadmill. In order to get 4 miles, you need to jog at a 6 speed around 45 to 50 minutes. So almost an hour on the treadmill. So that's exactly what I was doing. I was doing almost an hour on the treadmill almost every day just to lose the weight. And then I would do some resistance training as well. Now I relied on the machine because I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know any workout routines as far as like dumbbell exercises. So I relied on the machines. I looked at it and said, oh, do this and that. And that's the good thing about machines, is that it's easy to understand. It shows you exactly the push and pull, whether it's your legs, upper body, lower body, abs, very straightforward. So they had that in the gym in my school. Like every gym has those machines, right? So I relied heavily on that. And for the most part, like the moment I go into the gym, I would jog for 45 to 50 minutes. I'll do that as a routine over and over. And I remember during this time, because this was college, so I would literally do this like in between. It's like during the 2-hour mark, where it's the common time where everybody either go to lunch or they're on break. This is the common time, like I believe it was like from 12 to 2, where there are no classes, right? And then you either continue, going into class at 2 o'clock or 3 or whatnot. Actually, no, it was an hour. I believe it was from 12 to 1, not 12 to 2. So a lot of times, either I'll work out during that window, or I'll either work out in the evening or work out in the morning. So again, that was like really my routine. And on top of that, I did not know how to cook. So what I was doing at that time was to make sandwiches, because I thought eating sandwiches is healthy, right? It's healthier than eating fast food. So I'll literally go to the grocery store and buy deli meat, wheat bread, because I thought wheat bread is healthier than white bread. So wheat bread, cheese, deli meat, mayonnaise, and I would toast the bread, and then I would just make sandwiches. That's all I was doing. And then whenever I'll go outside, sometimes I'll like make a sandwich as like a meal prep. Again, I didn't know how to cook at that time. So as months went on, right, I ended up losing the weight. I went down from 220 down to, I believe I was like 180. So I was like lean skinny, right? And this is where I started transition from doing cardio all the time to then lean more towards weightlifting. So I was doing more weightlifting. And in the gym, right, in my school, the largest dumbbell size there was 50 pounds. So I would do the most I can, like doing lateral raises, the shoulder press, right? I ended up doing more push-ups. I was doing pull-ups. I was bench pressing. Now the bench pressing there did not have the free weights. Everything was just a Smith machine. Like most places have Smith machine, unless you go to certain local gyms or higher end gyms, they have the free weight dumbbells. Free weight bench pressing machines. So that's mainly what I was doing in order to build more muscle. Now keep this in mind. This was considered newbie gains, as they call it, right? Newbie gains is literally when you first start working out. Your body, especially if you're starting to become more consistent, that's when you're going to see the most amount of change. Whether you are in a caloric deficit and you lower down the amount of calories you eat, right? And you're doing a lot of cardio, right? You're going to go from being obese or have a lot of body fat to then being skinny, right? Or the body composition, where you go from having a lot of body fat to then having a lot of muscle. And that's kind of what I went through, because I gone from being chubby to being skinny and then having lean muscle tissue, right? And I look back at that time because I'm like, wow, like I really was like defined, like my arms, veins on the biceps, everything was very defined. And so I was lean. So I got, it's like a lean bulk in a way, because I got from 180 to like 195, right? 195. And later on, I was implementing weighted belts. So I still got the belt to this day, the weighted belt. So it's like calisthenics, where you put on the belt, you could put on weighted plates through the chain, and that can add more resistance when doing any type of calisthenic exercise, whether you're doing pull-ups or you're doing dips. And looking back, I was doing like the most I've ever done at that time was like me and my friend, we would do like 4 plates of 45 while doing dips. So we had like 4 plates of 45 here and then doing dips like that. So that was something where, looking back, can I do that? Like doing all these dips? No, I cannot do 4 plates. Probably now, maybe 2, pushing 3, but not 4. I'll just break something, because we get older. But also, again, pull-ups, 4 plates of 45. So I ended up developing an insane vascular, not insane vascular, but a very lean physique for my genetics. And this was my peak. Now looking back, and this was like 2016, 2017-ish. That right there was the year where I peaked as far as physique is concerned. And if we're talking about supplements and all that stuff, I didn't take any supplements. The closest thing you can count as a supplement was taking whey protein. And I will waste so much money now thinking about it. Looking back, I will literally, when I was done working out, I will go to this deli. They have this in New York, is deli corner store. So they'll have like, it's a convenience store, right? Think of it like gas stations. They'll have stores. So it's something similar to that, but without the gas station aspect of it, right? And I'll go there and they will provide protein shakes. So they'll like make a protein shake, same thing. So you can ask for like a fruits and vegetables blend with whey protein. So I will constantly request that. And that's like the only type of supplement that I took. I never took any creatine. Even to this day, never took creatine. As years went on, I took BCAAs. And again, it didn't really do anything. It was mainly, that's for hydration, right? I didn't really need it, but I just decided to take it. But yeah, I'm going on a tangent. But yeah, so that was my peak right there, was back in 2016, 2017. It's funny enough, because after that, when I started to work in the office, working in 9 to 5 corporate America, that's when things start to slowly gain body fat. And one of the main reasons why is because my diet was off. I didn't know how to cook. Whenever I was outside, especially working 9 to 5, during your break, you want to go outside and get food. That was the brainwashing mentality that I had, like most people, right? Number one, you want to escape a little bit from your 9 to 5 during your break. And number two, you want to eat, right? Because eating food is comforting, is euphoric, right? So that messed me up, because what's around me? Fast food. And if you want to eat healthy foods, like healthy alternatives, it costs more, right? It's more of an arm and a leg compared to eating fast food. So I resorted going back into my bad habit of eating fast food. And on top of that, I started to consume drinking coffee. Now I would drink black coffee because I thought that was a healthy alternative. But imagine that, right? Drinking coffee, eating whatever fast food is around you, And majority of the time, this is the most important part too, is that I was working a desk job. So there's not a lot of blood flow happening if you're sitting down looking at a computer screen for so many hours of the day, right? So my pretty much being active, right? Just my daily activities have significantly decreased. At least during the time when I was in college, working retail, you're standing most of the time, right? You're moving around, talking to people, you're standing the whole entire time. And then you're in school, you're moving around from class to class. There's more mobility happening in general, right? Compared to you're just sitting down looking at something for hours and hours. So that was one of the main reasons why I was slowly gaining weight, right? And I didn't really know that I was until when I was looking back at some of the pictures and the videos I've took of me posing to see, I don't know why I was really I'm still really into bodybuilding as far as watching the content. So I guess by me posing, it's just me just for myself, right? Just to see how I overall look when I'm posing, right? I know it's a weird thing for the average person. I'm ugh, why is he posing? That's weird. Why are people posing? Oh, he must be narcissistic or whatever. No, it's just to see how my body look. Just like how you look at yourself in the mirror with clothes on, you want to see and appreciate how you look, right? You want to make some changes. So by me posing, it's the same thing. It's oh, maybe I should work more on this because I'm lacking in X, Y, and Z, right? So moving forward, right? Again, I was slowly gaining weight, and it got so bad because even right now I'm going through a weight loss journey, but we're getting there. I don't want to jump ahead, not yet. So let's talk about this, right? So on top of not knowing how to cook, relying on fast food that's around me, and after work, I tried, and my mentality was I could probably outperform. I could outdo the bad habits, right? In other words, I'm trying to work out to compensate for my terrible diet. And I've learned that no matter how hard you work out, if you have a terrible diet, it doesn't matter. You're going to gain body fat. And over time, that's exactly what was going on. The veins on my arms went away, right? Vascularity, the definition started to go away. My face started to hold on to more body fat, right? My face used to be slim, then it started to pack on more water weight and fat. I started to develop man boobs, right? Got some titties, baby, please. Man boobs, right? Also, a gut. Before it was right now it's going down, but it started to become more pronounced. And then also I started to feel a little bit of a form, a pocket of fat. It started to slowly develop. And I'm nah, this has to stop. Now, of course, fully aware of this, but I still had a terrible habit. So I would still eat Philly cheesesteak all the time. And then what made it worse is that living on my own, the buying ordering from DoorDash and Uber Eats, it's so convenient at the tip of your fingertips, right? To order any type of food. And that was really a terrible habit because, again, comfort food, right? So then I used to go hard, even work harder than last time and go on a treadmill thinking, if I could outperform this terrible diet, I would jog for 30 minutes, be super, super tired, do sets because my cardio, again, before I used to do almost an hour, right? So I got used to that. But then because of eating all this fast food, my cardio performance plummeted. I could barely do 10 minutes, right? Let alone 20 minutes. So I'll do sets for it to complete 30 minutes. I'll get blisters on my feet because I don't have the right sneakers and my body's not used to the long amount of cardio, right? I would just look like I'm just getting bulkier because I thought, you know what, let me lift heavier weights. Maybe that can help out as far as like the fat being reduced. And it just looked like I was going through a dirty bulk phase. I was dirty bulking, pretty much indirectly dirty bulking. And as much as people was like still giving me high praise, like, oh man, you look great, and all, what type of workout you do, how many push-ups can you do, how much you can bench press, all that type of stuff, I still felt insecure. I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt insecure because I was my worst enemy. They don't know my past, right? They don't know how I used to look. They're judging how I look now. But I will ignore that in my head and be like, oh, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I should be like this. I need to work hard to be like this. So again, I was frustrated at myself. I appreciated the compliment, but again, we are our worst enemy. So I will do more cardio. I will lift even more. And this is the transitional phase where my body plateaued. It plateaued. I realized that because of the constant push in my body, trying to lift heavier weights, doing a lot of cardio, and then eating foods from DoorDash and all that stuff, it's like you step 1 foot forward and then 2 steps back, right? Which is why no matter how hard I trained, me eating terrible food is just, there's no progression. It's degression. That's even a word. You start to still get terrible results of gaining body fat over and over. And there was a time where I seen how I looked a few months ago, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my face got so heavy. So I had to ask myself, like, I was telling myself, like, look, because I would say this too. I don't want to get too much into TMI, but I had a doctor's visit and they said something about X, Y, and Z, and I'm like, I gotta nip this in the bud now. I have to change my eating lifestyle. It's not even a diet, my eating lifestyle, because it doesn't make sense for me to waste a lot of money on DoorDash or with eating fast food specifically, right? Because you can use DoorDash for other things, not just fast food, but wasting money on fast food, and I'm literally just like lowering down my life expectancy, right? Because in the end of the day, health is wealth. If you're not healthy, then you're struggling in life, and then eventually you're lowering down staying alive, right? It defeats the purpose, right? This is why I take pride in being 100% natural, because it kind of defeats the purpose. Unless you're a competitor, if you're a bodybuilder, you're a competitor, that's a disclaimer, that's you do you, right? For those people out there who want to take all that stuff, do you. But for me personally, it's like you contradict yourself, because it's health and fitness, but the hierarchy is health. If you're not healthy but you're fit, it just doesn't make any sense. So you're taking PEDs so you can look like you are in shape, which you are aesthetically from the outside, but your insides, you're lowering down your life expectancy because you're taking drugs to look good. Like, the most important factor is your functionality and being healthy, because that keeps you in this world longer than your looks. And that's a transition that is really important, because even not taking all that stuff, I still was eating fast food, like looking at myself in the mirror like, hey, I look good, right? So I could just, eat whatever I want. But eventually your body's gonna plateau, right? And that's what happened with me. Even if you're natural, you're gonna go through this. You can't escape just like, oh, I can eat pizza, I can eat burgers, I can eat fries, and then yet not know the side effects as you get older. Your metabolism starts to slow down. You're not gonna have all that amount of lean muscle tissue. So it's interesting when people say, oh, I worked out for 20 years, that's why I look like this. It's like, that doesn't make sense, because your body, throughout the years, eventually it's gonna plateau. You're not gonna just gain a crazy amount of muscle tissue. Like, this is my peak, right? I either will lean out or bulk up and lose definition. But I'm not gonna look like no Phil Heath or Ronnie Coleman, like looking insane. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Nor would I want to have physique like that. But let me get back into it. So over time, I needed to make a rational decision, because if I was going to continue going down the path of just eating whatever I want, then I'm going to have more and more health complications as I get older. So I need to nip it in the butt now as opposed to procrastinate. So I decided to go more on a plant-based diet. Now, does this mean that I am vegan? No, but my main eating lifestyle is plant-based, because the difference between who I was before to now is that, because, living on your own, you have to learn how to do things independently. So I learned how to cook, and I learned ways of how to cook, and cooking is not that hard, right? And then you end up just testing things out, experiment, seeing how this works if you make this and that. So I've made recipes like lentils with sweet potatoes, spinach. I'll boil all of that. I'll have sweet plantains and drink water. I don't need soda. I never was addicted to soda or juice anyway. And if I want to have something like that, I'll just get a fruit, or I'll blend it, or I'll just have kale with oranges, blueberries, right? Having a whole variety of that. And it's interesting because if you buy a bunch of lentils and all this stuff, right, it's not that expensive. Unless, Whole Foods is crazy, but it's not that expensive, right? And I'm gonna see in the next few months where my results will go, as far as the weight loss and cutting. I'm seeing the transition now. My face is starting to get a little bit slimmer compared to a few weeks ago. So I'm going to be eating a lot of lentils. The side effect to all of this is only because of the restroom, because of eating so much fiber. And if you drink a lot of water, your body is just going to easily just take all this stuff out, which is good, as it's supposed to be. Because ironically, with fast food, when I've been eating a lot of fast food, it's like not constipation, but your body takes a longer time to break down the food because it's processed. So you will have days. It'll take like a few days until your body takes all that out as a number two, as opposed to eating healthy, right? But yeah, like my mentality changed. Like my fitness journey gone from eating a lot of fast food, I need to lose weight. I lost the weight, wasn't eating right, but I lost the weight due to cardio, and my body wasn't used to exercising. Then I gone from resistant training, a lot of that, had peak physique at that time, right? Definitely put in the work, but I didn't put in the work as far as my eating lifestyle. So then eventually it caught up to me now, where I have to change up the diet and think long term instead of short term. I'm not so impressed with getting a pump. I could have easily, before recording, I could have done like 50 push-ups and then recorded and looked like massive. But no, this is how I normally look. This isn't no pump. I'm not trying to do none of those fabrications to lure people in because, I look jacked up. Like, no, this is just how I normally look, But yeah, this journey is actually, I feel like I hacked the system now, as far as like, I don't need to spend money on fast food. I don't need to spend money on food, because once you buy groceries, especially when you know how to cook, man, if you feel like you hacked the system, like you literally don't need to spend money, and there's so much food. And if some of the food if you may think they might spoil, put it in the freezer, And I just feel like there's way more energy, right? Have more energy. Yeah, I use the restroom a lot, but that's how it's supposed to be. And I don't mind getting smaller and getting definition, because I care more about, again, the health rather than aesthetics, right? And there's no way I'm gonna look skin and bone, because in the end of the day, I'm eating. It's not like I'm drinking water and I'm water fasting. I've tried that before too, and that's another thing I want to talk about before closing this out. We get so caught up in instant gratification. I've seen a few content creators doing water fasting. They've done it for a week. One did it for a month, and I'm like, wow, they lost so much weight in a short amount of time. But that's not healthy. You want to lose the weight in a caloric deficit, but you don't want to gain it back the moment you go back to eating fast food, because that could make you easily eat fast food, because you're depriving yourself from nutrients. So of course your body's gonna cannibalize itself in ketosis and eat away its own fat. However, again, once you're done with doing that, right, you're gonna easily have those cravings again. And that's what's interesting about what I've chose as far as the eating lifestyle, where I don't have those cravings anymore. I don't look at a pizza or an ad on YouTube or social media where it's like, yo, I need to go get some pizza. I need to go get some burgers. I need to go get some fries. You know, like I don't have that, you know? Maybe I'll eat fast food once in a while, but I figured out an eating lifestyle that is sustainable, not short term, that I'm torturing myself on a crash diet that I'm just gonna eat whatever I want the moment I give up. Like, no, like this is something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy eating. And as far as like fitness is concerned as well, I like riding a bike. Like I've found different alternatives rather than just like staying indoors in the gym and just, you know, jogging on the treadmill. I've seen so many people, right, in the same gym I go to, and they look exactly the same, and they're always jogging on the treadmill. Why? Because of their eating lifestyle. 99% of it is what you eat, right? Even like obviously newbie gains plays a part if you first start, but over time you're gonna hit a plateau and you're gonna get fat. You're gonna gain a lot of body fat regardless of you lifting weights. And all that treadmill, you're just torturing yourself. Find something that you enjoy that you lose weight at the same time. You know, I like riding a bike. It's just kind of brought me back to how it was as a kid. You know, so riding a bike works on your quads, good cardio, and I do it outside. I don't go on a stationary bike. I like to feel like it's real. I don't like to run in place, jog in place, or go on a bike in place. You know, but that's pretty much it for the video. I just wanted to just talk to you guys. It's all unedited, right? I like to keep it raw, like as if we're having a conversation, right? Real conversations, there's no edit, right? So that's that. So yeah, just stay tuned for the next videos. I'll do videos like this, but at the same time I'll still do art videos as well, right? It just takes me time to make artwork, right? And then I have to put them all together, so that takes time. All right guys, I'm out of here. See you guys in the next one. Peace.